Steakhouses, everybody. Have you been to a steakhouse lately? I can't remember the last time I went to one. Well, actually I can. It was Salt Bae. The steak was okay and the service was phenomenal. What was disgusting was the price.
Holy $1,200 for 2 people.
But with all that being said, my team selected this video for me to react to. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm excited. Enough talking, let's begin.
Hawksmoor in its bones is a steakhouse, and the kind of culture that we've created here is we've merged the UK and the US seamlessly.
Wow, they merged the UK and the US? That is very interesting. This got me super excited, everybody. Let's see.
My day starts with people and product. So first is checking in on the team, and then doing the same for all of our products and making sure that everything's to our standard.
Wow! Did you see that cart of meat? Dry aged perfection right there. I'm excited.
On a weekly basis, we go through a literal ton of beef, where we try to utilize the whole carcass as much as possible. So we sell almost the whole cow.
I love that he tried to use every single part of the cow. A lot of steak houses only focus on premium meats. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, whenever you have a different menu and you can use the entire animal, that's the way to do it.
So this is a whole rump off the bone. So fresh out of our dry aging facility.
The whole rump. What comes from the rump? This is a quiz for you, everybody.
The rump steak is really important to our mission as part of our sustainability mission, and also with our UK roots being such a popular cut there for the Sunday roast. It was really important to us to introduce the US to it and show them how delicious that cut can be.
And I will take that back. To introduce the US to it, I take pride on this one, everybody, because when I started making videos, no one knew what this cut was. After I started making videos about it, you are now able to find in almost every supermarket, but most importantly, the price went way up. So it's a bittersweet for me.
We'll actually use this cap for our tartare dish.
Now you should know exactly what it is. Picanha, everybody. The queen of all meats. The best cut of steak in the world. There's nothing that comes even close. That is heaven.
So this is our rump, or top sirloin as known in the US, on the menu, 12 ounces.
Very inexpensive cut of steak right here. It's much cheaper than picanha. Why? Because the picanha is more tender, it's juicier, and it has the fat cap on top that is just absolutely delicious. This one brings in flavor, but no tenderness like the picanha does.
This is kind of a cut that many cultures use, right? So
What the What the heck is that? I'm just praising this guy like there's no tomorrow, and he cut the fat off the picanha? Rule number 1 of a picanha, never cut the fat cap. If the fat cap is too big, you can trim it a little bit low and leave it at about 1/4 inch. That's good. Rule number 2, don't season it with crazy things. Salt is fantastic. If you want to go a little bit adventurous, a little bit of black pepper and garlic powder. But honestly, for me, I like it to keep it traditional with only salt and nothing else. Why? Because it doesn't need anything else. It's delicious. Imagine combining a ribeye and a filet mignon together. That's picanha.
So this is the cut we primarily will use for tartare.
Okay. I take everything back because he's making beef tartare. And yes, for beef tartare, you don't cook the fat cap.
We're gonna put together steak tartare so we can make sure that the steak is at the quality we need for service tonight. We basically tested every cut on the cow, and the rump outperformed everything else.
Did you hear that? The rump picanha outperformed everything else. I'm in total agreement with this.
So at Hawksmoor, we use a Turkish-styled grill.
They use charcoal, baby. They use charcoal. I like this guy.
So this is a beautiful lumpwood charcoal we get from Ecuador. Huge chunks of wood. Burns really, really hot, really long time. Amazing flavor.
You basically want to create some air pockets.
Oh, they're using Fogo charcoal. Wow. I know another person that uses Fogo charcoal as well. I will say though, that little mini flamethrower that he has over there, looks sorry everybody. Get yourself a real flamethrower, man. That just takes forever to light it up like that. Get a real one. It'll make your life a lot easier and faster.
What you do is you get the grill lit so that it is super hot, and then you create your hot spots to what your personal cooking style is. So we'll always have one side that's ready to cook and one side that's burning.
They cook it with different zones. This is so important, and most people make a huge mistake with this. You must have a cool zone and also a hot zone, which is exactly what they're doing. One is for searing the steak and getting a nice beautiful crust, and the other one is to bring it up to temperature nice and slow. And doing with charcoal is so much better because you're going to infuse that wonderful flavor inside.
Here in America, you know, we're a newer country, and we're starting to realize and care a bit more about like what our animals eat. In the UK, they have a bit of a head start on that. They have a ton of old world farming.
Grass-fed is like kind of almost seen as a bit of a nouveau thing, whereas in the UK, it's what the majority of our cows are fed and raised on grass.
You have to understand this because this gets quite complicated. Most cow here in the United States is grass-fed, but they are grain finished. On the last part of their lives, they used more grain so that you can get more marbling. That's those little spots of white fat that you see in a prime grade steak. Usually when you have grass-fed 100% start to finish, the fat is kind of yellow. And I'm telling you everybody, I know what you might be thinking, but it's not better than grain finished. Grain-fed is so much more delicious. But most cows always start on grass.
What we do with the tenderloin here at Hawksmoor is quite unique. Places will take just the center cut barrel, get fillets, everything else goes. For us, we do full tenderloin utilization.
So we're going to break down the tenderloin into our 3 parts. So we'll have the head, which will be our Chateaubriand.
Wait, he's calling the head the Chateaubriand? I don't take the Chateaubriand from the head. The Chateaubriand is normally taken from the middle section, which is the best part of the whole tenderloin.
We'll make a call on how many fillets we can get out of that before it starts to cut into the Chateau. In this case, it's 2. And then what you're left with is a nice even Chateau that's got 3 pieces to it.
I'm speechless because that's not the Chateaubriand to me, that's the head. And usually we use this for trimmings because the filet mignon will be too small. But he's using this in the restaurant as the Chateaubriand. I've never seen this technique being done this way. I'm not quite sure if he's calling the Chateaubriand that part because that's what they call it in that specific restaurant. But normally the Chateaubriand is the best part, the middle cut.
So Patty will take 1 piece from every cut that comes in. We taste it, we talk about it, we make notes, and if anything doesn't make the cut, it doesn't make the menu.
Wow, must be really nice to work at this restaurant, huh? You get to taste steak every day to make sure that it has a good quality. Wow.
Quite a generous seasoning of Maldon sea salt.
Ooh, notice that he's seasoning with Maldon salt. There's nothing wrong with that, everybody. However, Maldon salt is a finishing salt. The grains are much larger, but at the same time, it's much milder. Why? Because the crystals were made by evaporating water and creating a nice large chunk. It's also more expensive. Any other salt will do the work just fine, even fine salt. However, it's very difficult to measure the amount of fine salt that is being put on the steak because it's so tiny. But damn, they're going all out. They're using Maldon salt all the way through.
The big, heavy flakes make for a great crust and enable us to get that Maillard reaction going, caramelization.
See, that's one of the reasons I used to use it too, for flavor and texture, because it just creates a better overall dish in the end, but it's just so much more expensive.
Well, we don't want bar marks. We want a nice, even, golden brown crust throughout our steaks.
It almost seems like this chef has been watching my videos for a while, man. He doesn't want bar marks, also known as grill marks, because it doesn't taste good. Nice, delicious golden brown is the way to go.
Obviously, different steaks have different fat levels, which will make for where and how long you need to cook them. So the heavier the fat, the quicker the char.
You see those smokes coming up, everybody? That's literally perfuming the steak with the flavor of charcoal. That is what gives the wonderful taste on a steak.
The main difference between cooking with gas or cooking with charcoal is as the juices of the meat, the fat is dripping onto the coal, it's creating that bit of smoke, which is kind of coming up and almost like glazing the meat with a whole nother layer of flavor, and I almost call it our secret sauce here.
Notice that he's flipping the steak constantly and watching it every single time. This nonsense about flipping your steak only once is no longer true. You gotta watch it. You don't want anything to burn. I absolutely love this guy.
So this is a half an evening's of bone marrow. We go through about 1,500 pounds of bone marrow a week. Bone marrow is in everything.
Damn, bone marrow is in everything. Wow. I thought I had a lot of bone marrow, but apparently I'm not even close.
The goal of that center cut is just really optimizing how much marrow meat is inside each bone. And you could just see in there, by taking the center cut of the bone, you get that beautiful deep cup of bone marrow. You could just slide it out like that.
That right there is so good, everybody. If you've never had bone marrow in your life, do yourself a favor and give it a try. And also, it's very good for you.
At 5:30, the curtain goes up, lights go down in the dining room, and then it becomes all about the guest. So this is our cast iron steak, taken from the tail end of the fillet.
bone marrow scurly on top. Beautiful
Wow.
chiffonade of parsley, pinhead oats, a little bit of
Wow. Oh my God.
Tonight, we
That looks amazing.
the books plus 2 private dining events booked, and then a full bar. One of the beauties of being in an open kitchen and standing in the dining room is you get to feel that energy.
Wow, gold.
And it's incredible.
I have one word to describe this. Wow. I would not like to go to many steakhouses, everybody, because I literally can cook here and I think I cook a pretty good steak. But I would love the experience of going to this place. The amount of care that is put in each individual steak is just phenomenal. If you've ever been to the steakhouse, please let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.